Envision a world where insults fly your direction, workplace crises erupt, or a loved one's betrayal blindsides you, and yet within, you experience a tranquil ripple as if the tumult were merely air slipping through unfettered fingers. Such composure is not mere chance, it is the fruit of discipline. The venerable Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, devoted their lives to mastering non-reaction, transforming emotional tempests into moments of clarity. They posited that each scenario consists of two components, the event itself and your response to it. Conquer the latter, and the former loses its grip. Today, on the Deep Dive Psychology podcast, we unravel this mastery. You'll gain insight into the Stoic method that instantly discerns what's within your control from what is not, the mental inoculation of negative visualization that diminishes fear before challenges arise, and a straightforward breathing technique that seizes control from anger or panic in less than 10 seconds. By episode's end, you won't merely comprehend non-reaction, you will possess a portable toolkit for living it, so when life strikes fiercely, you remain steadfast, watching the world marvel at your tranquility. Our nervous system was forged on the savannah, long before emails and comment threads. Stone Age minds saved us by converting every rustle into a readiness for defense, perceive threat, feel fear, act swiftly. That primal circuitry still hums beneath our skin, despite changed threats. An abrupt message from your boss, a snide tweet, a partner's delayed response. These ignite our brains just as a stalking predator once did. Cortisol surges, heart rate escalates, and thoughts constrict to a narrow focus, prompting your mouth to react before your mind clarifies. To the Stoics, this is the reflex trap: stimulus, surge, response, regret. Modern life exacerbates this trap as every gadget at your fingertips leverages it. Notifications blaze, timelines perpetually refresh, news thrives on outrage. Each notification sparks a mini flight or fight response, rewarding instantaneous reaction with a dopamine surge. React now, feel significant, repeat. We become Pavlovian, responding eagerly to every alert, forfeiting autonomy for fleeting reassurance. The Stoics recognized this cycle long ago, without smartphones. Epictetus advised his pupils, when provoked, realize your mind is complicit in the provocation. The provocateur may press the button, yet the internal wiring is ours. Marcus Aurelius turned this insight into a mantra. External things are not the problem, it's your judgments of them, and those you can erase right now. This reflex trap proves costly first by narrowing perception. Stress disables the prefrontal cortex, impacting judgment. You fire off a heated email, press send, and only later discern the career crater created. Secondly, it cedes your control to anyone who honks at you. Manipulators exploit the trap, steering narratives as you chase emotional rabbits. Thirdly, it erodes trust. People sense reactivity and withhold responsibilities, opportunities, intimacy because they tread carefully, unsure when the next spark might ignite. Stoicism starts by recognizing the trap's initial tremor. Picture a vivid yellow pause sign flashing as your pulse quickens. This sign isn't signaling numbness, it suggests delaying the exterior reaction just long enough for a wiser part of your mind to intervene. The pause is brief, perhaps 2 breaths, yet it's pivotal, splitting fate. One direction leads to disorder, the other to deliberate response. Dedicate today to noticing the trigger point. Each time your phone pings, a car cuts you off, or a colleague interrupts, identify the rising urge in your heart, reflex. Neither judge it nor suppress it, merely highlight it. Awareness alone weakens the trap's spring. Tomorrow we add tools to this spotlight: Stoic filters, negative visualization, and voluntary discomfort, so the trap's spring rusts, loosens, transforming impulsive reactions into deliberate choices made on your terms, never theirs. Recognize the reflex trap, then introduce a filter between stimulus and response. The Stoics named it the dichotomy of control. Visualize 2 mental buckets, one labeled things within me, the other everything else. Every thought, headline, or interaction falls into one of these buckets. Only the first merits your energy. While simple, the potency is immense. You cannot manage your boss's mood, impending traffic, or future stock values. What you can control is your preparation, the playlist you select, and whether you panic sell or adhere to your strategy. Everything else is distraction, and distraction undermines serenity. Seneca plainly stated, What troubles people is not things themselves, but their judgments about things. Should a judgment land in the second bucket, dismiss it like spam. Employ the 10-second filter when stress ignites, freeze the scene and pose 2 questions. 1. Which part is genuinely mine to direct? 2. Which part will persist regardless of my feelings? Identify one distinct action for bucket 1, such as drafting an email, offering a moderate apology, or resolving to leave promptly. Then consciously release bucket 2 with a long exhale, like breathing away its influence. Practice this mental check at intersections when cut off, viewing morning news or reading ambiguous texts. The mind thrives on categories offer it 2, control or lack of control, act or let go. In time, the filter becomes instinctive. Mental resilience develops where reflex traps once reigned. Every time you honor the dichotomy, you create a gulf between external upheaval and internal calm, the realm where true freedom resides. Imagine tomorrow as it dawns. Before your feet touch the floor, close your eyes and conduct a quiet drill. The warm shower turns cold, the commute halts, a vital client withdraws, your phone screen fractures. For 10 deliberate breaths, contemplate each adversity vividly. Then open your eyes, arise, and proceed. Congratulations, you've rehearsed the Stoic practice of negative visualization, or as Marcus Aurelius termed it, premeditatio malorum, premeditation of hardships. Why rehearse unpleasant events when life already offers plenty? Because the mind falters at surprises. When an unexpected event strikes, your amygdala blazes, cortisol gushes, and clarity is submerged. Yet if the scenario graces a stage you've already envisioned, your mind acknowledges it. I've met this guest before. Fear dissipates, choices emerge. You transition from shock to strategy swiftly. Consider firefighters drilling in smokehouses. They navigate blind hallways so actual flames feel familiar. Negative visualization is similar, training for emotional fires. By simulating losses, cracked laptops, missing luggage, sudden critique, you protect against the panic typical of such incidents. Seneca recommended ending each night by questioning, what's the worst that might occur tomorrow? Not to brood, but to mitigate fear through rehearsal. When dawn brought half those challenges, he welcomed them as familiar. Undertake a brief 2-minute exercise. Sit upright, breathe in, and identify one comfort you might lose today, your beloved coffee shop, a cherished individual's health. Visualize its absence intently. Let the sting intensify, then observe it ebb away. Exhale, feeling gratitude rush into the void fear vacated. Gratitude is the concealed reward. Everything unlost becomes bonus life. Make this a daily ritual, and sudden adversities lose their shock value. The client is tardy, you anticipated a cancellation, the boss snaps, you envisioned worse. Calmness evolves as default, not because life eases, but because your mind ceases to be startled by events it has forecasted. Every reflex initiates as chemistry, a surge of adrenaline, a cortisol spike, an electrical charge racing through the amygdala. You cannot cease the initial biochemical spark, its ancient circuitry, but you can halt the ensuing chain reaction, employing a tool so simple it appears dubious, a single conscious breath, longer on the exhale. 4 counts inhale, 6 counts exhale. This proportion flips a switch in the vagus nerve, signaling the body, threat contained, even if the surroundings remain unchanged. Visualize yourself in a charged meeting. A colleague faults you for a missed timeline. Heat climbs your neck. Your defense is primed. Instead, your mouth remains sealed, your nostrils broaden, and you take a 4-beat breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath's peak like a stone in your palm, then release over 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As everyone awaits your reply, your heart rate declines, your prefrontal cortex briefly reignites, revealing a detail. The colleague's timeline was misaligned with yours. Calm returns, guided by a fact you'd have overlooked had you responded on the inhale. The sacred pause is minuscule, often below 10 seconds, but its reverberation is immense. It grants time to apply the dichotomy of control, to recollect your negative visualization drill, to select a response devoid of aftermath. Stoic teachings term this prohairesis. The faculty recall the essence of practicing negative visualization, selecting a response that leaves no residue behind. In Stoic philosophy, this is known as prohairesis, the quality of choice independent of external conditions. The breath is your real-time access to this faculty. Engage with it everywhere. When the traffic light switches from green to yellow, when a child unintentionally drenches your laptop with juice, each instance rings a bell for you to partake in a familiar ritual. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6, then allow words to follow. On certain days, 2 or 3 breaths may precede speech. These additional moments will not lead to the world crumbling. Quite the opposite. Those around you will sense the stabilizing space created by your brief delay. Conversations will begin to slow, tensions will ease, as though your breathing sets a new rhythm for the environment. Through repetition, this sacred pause transforms into a second nature. Your body will recognize its own agitation, instinctively employing breath before thoughts have the chance to intervene. Here lies mastery. When the very system that once provoked betrayal now serves your defense, the art of careful response arises from a silent interlude that only you perceive, a pause where you reclaim control of your mind. The Stoics held that untapped calm cannot be trusted. Seneca, among Rome's wealthiest, tested himself by occasionally sleeping on a hard bed, donning rough garments, and consuming only simple nourishment. He would ponder, had his fear been misplaced? Incremental challenges diminish the impact of future obstacles. Contemporary neuroscience validates this ancient insight. By embracing voluntary discomfort, like a cold shower, fasting, or walking briskly through rain, your body releases norepinephrine, cultivating resilience pathways. When unplanned stress arises, these pathways activate without hesitation, fostering composed alertness over apprehension. Commence with manageable steps. Conclude your shower with 30 seconds of cold water. Notice the automatic gasp and urge to retreat. Breathe deeply. Observe as that urge dissipates. The lesson reveals itself. Sensations mount, peak, and subside without drama when mindfulness remains present. Or skip a meal during an unbusy day. Observe the initial pangs of hunger, then witness their stabilization. By dinner, productivity stands undiminished, focus has sharpened. Commute without headphones, permitting both boredom and environmental elements to recalibrate your attention away from persistent stimuli. Each chosen inconvenience serves as a controlled fire, reducing the clutter so inevitable challenges encounter less resistance. The aim is not self-punishment, it is affirmation. Affirmation that you withstand brief coldness, brief hunger, and brief silence. Each affirmation contributes to a reservoir of quiet confidence. Consequently, when unexpected trials beset you, a delayed flight, a missed promotion, you draw from this internal reserve rather than depleting your nerve endurance. Make voluntary discomfort a weekly practice. 1 cold shower, 1 postponed indulgence, 1 task performed slowly by hand. Designate it training instead of discipline. Smile at the first hint of discomfort. Appreciate it for the resilience it builds. Over time, everyday irritations will scarcely disturb you. Surpassed in line, an extended meeting, disrupted Wi-Fi, your heartbeat remains steady. You've rehearsed these scenarios under your conditions, transforming unanticipated adversities into experiences your preparation now conquers. Emotions are swiftest when unspecified. They course like an indistinct, intense liquid within the veins, impossible to grasp. The moment an emotion is named, it decelerates, taking form, becoming manageable. Neuroscientists recognize this as the affect labeling effect. MRI scans reveal that the amygdala, a trigger for the fight or flight response, loses power when the prefrontal cortex applies a simple label, such as anger or fear. The Stoics uncovered this revelation centuries ago. Epictetus instructed, respond to any impulse with, "I notice irritation has visited." This short declaration elevates the mind from the passenger's seat to the driver's seat. Test it in real time. A colleague dismisses your idea, triggering heated reflexes. Internally think, this is anger. Observe as the intensity decreases because you transition from engulfed by emotion to objectively observing it. Immediately query, what aspect truly belongs to me? Perhaps the anger is majorly pride injured, slightly a signal of transgressed boundaries. Retain the subtle signal, discard the pride. You now own the emotion, transforming it into information for deliberate action. Integrate a quick dissipation ritual. Visualize the emotion as fog shrouding your chest. Inhale through the nose, imagine elevating fog toward the crown, then exhale, envision it evaporating like steam. 2 cycles suffice. You don't suppress the feeling, you expel surplus charge to retain only the essence. Reinforce habit with concise reminders. Set your phone wallpaper to say name it. Own it. Release what isn't mine. Each glance becomes a reminder. As weeks pass, your internal narration evolves. A sudden pang of envy becomes that's envy. One breath. Most pertains to past comparison tales. Fog dissipates. Clarity re-emerges. Label, inquire, dissipate. Achieve this in under 30 seconds. Consistent practice neutralizes emotional ambushes. Emotions alert you, introduce themselves, state intentions, then await your guidance. This reflects Stoic self-governance. Feelings visit, yet none stage an uprising without your conscious permission. Witness the dynamic when someone attempts to provoke you into an argument, only to encounter your calm statement instead of a frantic reaction. A skeptic derides your project timeline. You feel the spike, pulse rising, thoughts rallying to safeguard every milestone. Yet you maintain eye contact, breathe once and respond, "Let's review the numbers post-trial, nothing additional." The ensuing silence is theirs, not yours. They anticipated exhaustive explanations, perhaps even apologies. Their energy rebounds like a boomerang when no defense arises, obliging them to bear or relinquish it alone. This small revelation discloses a power secret. The one who refuses reaction sets others stride. In boardrooms, classrooms, even family meals, dialogue streams towards tranquility as water seeks a low point. Grounded in non-reactivity, others unconsciously align with your level. Speech relaxes, tones mellow, convictions reconsidered. Initially, some may escalate, agitation being their default, yet thrashing accentuates the contrast. One remains centered, the other flails. Observers swiftly discern credibility. Quiet authority shuns arrogant silence or hidden superiority. It serves communal harmony. By foregoing escalation, you forestall emotional conflagrations. Your reserved demeanor lays groundwork for potent arguments. You safeguard your reputation. An articulate statement, substantiated, delivered calmly, resonates like a deliberate stone cast upon still water. Waves radiate unbroken. Contrast with defensive monologue. Extended defenses invite tangential points, meticulous dissection, and manipulative diversions. Extra sentences offer entryways. Brevity secures all exits simultaneously. Validate this in your next decisive email. Instead of multiple paragraphs defending a delay, craft 3 lines: what transpired, actions taken, expected update timing. Conclude with appreciation for patience. Send. Relish retaining integrity and succinctness. Observe the difficulty in contesting an email devoid of weaknesses. Non-reaction signifies potent strength. You act not passively. You adopt a dynamic focus, directing domain instead of flailing within. Upon experiencing your steadiness, others seek it. They appreciate your presence since it soothes the environment, clarifies matters, and reminds all that composure remains attainable. They may even begin mirroring you, reducing their own reactivity to synchronize. This tranquility contagion is the most discreet triumph, and manipulators fear it most, for it denies them leverage. Begin each morning with a minute-long control review. Before reaching for your phone, sit upright and ponder 2 questions. What unforeseeable outcomes may today bring? And where lies my influence in those circumstances? Envision the first list drifting away, and the second resting calmly within grasp. Seal this image with a deep breath. Set a silent phone alarm to vibrate every 3 hours. When it nudges you, pause momentarily and take a slow breath in, a slow breath out. Let this vibration remind you of your liberty to pause. The news, the colleague, the horn, all can wait. Note how a 10-second pause resets your nervous system and expands the gap between stimulus and response. Through the day, employ straightforward language to identify rising emotions. This is frustration. Pause. What part belongs to me meaningfully? Retain only what requires specific action. Release the surplus with an exhale. At night, consider 3 situations in which you paused rather than reacted. Document each with a sentence. What instigated? How you breathed, resulting change. This evidence record shapes the brain for repetition the following day. End with brief negative visualization. Shut eyes, foresee a slight setback, rein in your commute, critical email, delayed item. Manage it with the calm honed today. Open eyes, practice gratitude for earned victories. Engage these routines regularly, and over time they become natural reflexes, preparing you to step into life's unpredictabilities with calm assurance. Spend a full week nurturing this tranquility. Each day begins with a morning reflection, progresses through a midday pause to breathe, labels emotions as they arise, is noted in an evening log, and undergoes a brief mental rehearsal. Though simple, this practice yields profound results. Tranquility accompanies you into every situation, whether mundane or turbulent, as you learn to master each moment with intentional breaths. You now wield timeless tools, more refined than contemporary solutions. In mere moments, you can categorize each stressor through the wisdom of control dichotomy. Negative visualization fortifies you before chaos descends. Each deliberate breath transforms panic into composure. Embracing discomfort builds resilience, while naming emotions dissipates the fiercest waves, and a calm sentence can subtly influence the atmosphere in your favor. Yet, knowledge without application remains inert. True power lies in practice. For the next day, abide by a singular rule: fully experience each emotion. Name it once, but choose not to react. When irritation arises, acknowledge it as anger and breathe through it. When uncertainty looms, murmur anxiety and breathe deeply. Allow the world's whirl to continue, but maintain your inner equilibrium. Observe how many potential conflagrations extinguish once you abstain from adding to them. If you accept this challenge, declare "I hold the line" in the comments. Subscribe to refine your Stoicism each week with deeper insights. Speak less, pause more, and always remember, often, the strongest action is the one that remains unseen.